You know, when you reload a weapon, there's two types of reloads you can do. When you completely empty your mag and have no bullets left, you do a speed reload, generally dropping the mag on the ground and swapping it for a full new one. There is no more bullet in the chamber, so you have to release the slide or rack the weapon, before shooting again. And then you have the tactical reload. When you decide you want to reload before your mag is completely empty, there's still a bullet in the chamber, so you can start shooting immediately after inserting the fresh mag. So technically you get back to shooting a bit faster. We skip the part, but in practice this type of reload takes a bit more time because you put back the half-empty mag in your belt or pouch because there's still ammo in it, while swapping it for the fresh new mag. You just don't drop the empty mag on the ground, like the speed reload. Anyways, it's a bit random how games treat how you handle the mags and the speed of these two types of reloads. Sometimes there's very little difference between them. Sometimes the speed reload is a bit faster, sometimes it's the opposite. It's a bit all over the place. So when playing Gamma, I never really thought about it in details. I shoot enemies, I reload, and I shoot more enemies. Sometimes it's a speed reload, sometimes it's a tactical one, who cares, same difference. But I was going on a reload times rabbit hole recently, I'll explain why in details later, and I realized there's actually a huge difference between the two types of reloads in the game, at least much bigger than I was expecting. Maybe I'm a dum-dum and everyone besides me was aware of this already, but just in case, tactical reloads, so when your mag still has some ammo in it, are always faster. For most weapons, it's a reasonable difference, like under a second. I mean, some could argue it's already a lot, but there's a good chunk of weapons with a difference well above 1 second, up to 1.5, sometimes even 2 seconds, which starts getting a lot, actually. If you're in an open area taking potshots at bandits, who cares? But if you're doing the Brain Scorcher, fighting hordes of monoliths in very close combat, believe me, you would want to know that the weapon you're using right now will take almost 2 more seconds to reload if you fully empty your mag, and always keeping at least one bullet before taking cover and reloading will make things much faster. You know these moments when you clench your butt really hard, hoping you're not gonna get rushed or picked by the enemy in your most vulnerable position. Anyways, that was a fun fact I just realized and wanted to share. It doesn't have much to do with the rest of the video. That's what we're doing now. No more introductions, just starting videos with random shit. Okay, let's get started. So a couple weeks ago I released this video. I recommend watching it first if you didn't already, because it covers a lot of concepts that I'm not gonna go over again today. But if I had to summarize quickly, I went on a very deep dive trying to figure out what are the best weapons in Gamma, and ended up making a mod that tracks all your kills and ballistic data, displays it in game if you're curious, but more importantly writes everything down in a log file that you can send to me. And with this data you send, I can make weapon rankings based on actual in-game performance, not just paper stats of the weapon. The way the ballistic system works in Gamma makes it very hard to compare pure paper stats of weapons in a meaningful way. Again, whole video on this if you want more details. There's more than 50 people who participated in the project already, so big thank you to you all, and we just crossed the 50,000 kills gathered, which is kinda wild. So today we're gonna talk quickly about how the project is evolving with some new exciting features I want to show you, and then we'll analyze a bit all the data we got so far. I updated all the rankings with it. We are not there yet, but it's getting much better and much more reliable with time. But let's start with the exciting new stuff. The mod is now tracking a lot more data than the early version, and I made this new page where you can upload your log file and it will give you a ton of interesting information about your gameplay performance. And because I'm getting a lot of information from all of you, it compares your performance against the average of the community, which makes it even more interesting. So you can see some basic stuff like how long you played, how many kills and deaths you have since you started using the mod. You can see your average accuracy, how many headshots you land on average, your favorite and most used weapons, what kills you the most too, is it anomalies, mutants, a specific faction, and I'm working on a save scumming meter too because I think it's a funny stat to have. I'm not going to go over everything, it's all pretty self-explanatory. Every progress bar is the community average, so you can see how well you're performing compared to everybody else, and this graph at the top summarizes everything. Don't take it too seriously, all of this is more for fun than anything. It's a solo game in the end, nobody cares, it's just fun information to have. And I will probably add more to it soon, I have some cool ideas not implemented yet. This page, exactly like all the weapon rankings we're going to talk right after, will benefit from more data from all of you to be more reliable and to add new features. So let me go over how you can participate in the project, use the mod, send me your data, and see all your stats here too. It's very quick and simple, and all the links will be in the video description. Quick disclaimer before we start, this is my first mod ever, I'm still learning. It's a fun but pretty stressful process when a lot of people start using your mod and there is bugs or issues. The mod seems to work perfectly fine for most people, but if you have any issues, first don't worry, it's not gonna break your save or anything, just remove the mod and keep on playing, it's fine. If you want to help, I will leave a list of information to provide me with and a contact on the mod download page, so I can investigate any issue you have, if you have any, of course. Okay, let's go back to how to use everything. Okay, so first thing first, you download the mod, install it at the bottom of your mod list. It is designed for vanilla default settings gamma. If you use extra add-ons, it might break some things. When you're in game, in mod configuration menu, go to check-in numbers, make sure that these two things are turned on. They should already be by default. Everything else can be turned off. The mod can display a lot of information when you're playing. I go over everything in details in the first video if you want to know what's what, but if you're not interested in this, you can simply turn off everything in the options. Nothing will display and it will simply run silently in the background. And then you just play like you would do normally. All your gaming sessions will be recorded in this single file. You don't have to do anything. And after playing for a while, you can go to the website in the submit data and see my stats. You drop your log file in here and you have two options. You can send me your data. I will use this to improve the weapon rankings and the stats page. So please do it, but don't spam me with dozens of tiny log files. The project is not going anywhere. Take your time. And when you have a big log file, send it to me. There's a 1 per week limit submission built in anyways. After sending your data, you can rename your old file, so the mod will create a new one. So next time it's only fresh kills you send me. If you already submitted your data for this week or you just want to check your stats again, you can go to only check my stats right here to see all your gameplay performance. You can drop multiple log files at the same time for this option and it will compare all of them at the same time. And that's it. I tried to make it as easy as possible and you have a recap of all the instructions on the main page if you need to. Okay, now let's talk quickly about the weapon rankings, because on top of updating them with all the kills I received so far, I changed a couple things. The data is still not enough to be fully reliable, we need more kills. I added trackers at the top of the pages so you can follow more or less how the project is advancing. And I will do a big full analysis video later when I feel we're starting to have enough. But there's already some little things we can talk about. In the first version of the rankings, you could compare every single faction independently if you wanted to. It kind of made sense because some factions have different resistances, but in the end I decided to unify everything and remove this option because it was fragmenting the results too much. We want to know what are the best weapons overall against everyone, so it's not as important as I thought. I added filtering by distance instead, which I think is much more interesting as a metric. So if you're getting ready for the Miracle Machine or the Brain Scorcher, you can see which will be the best weapons for close combat. If you want to know what are the best snipers, what shines mid-range or across multiple categories, it makes all of this possible. I'm still missing a lot of data for long range, as you can see. These categories are a bit empty. I mean, out of the 50,000 kills I received so far, the kill distance average is like under 25 meters. Kinda shows you how all the engagements in the game are actually pretty close. There's not a lot of really big maps where you can do a lot of really long range kills, but with more data it will start to shape up. I really want to see my SKS shine in here. You still have the best overall, cheapest and most efficient weapon rankings. By default, each entry of the rankings is a specific weapon with a specific type of ammo. For example, the SHAC-12 with the VPS, the high armor penetration rounds, which is dominating everything in close range. You can hover over each entry and it will give you extra information like how many bullets you need to kill an enemy on average, kills per magazine as a result, and the overkill is how extra damage you do after an enemy is already dead on average. So it's the efficiency of the weapon in a way. The lower the better. All of these are not based on the paper stats of the weapon, obviously, but on actual recorded performance in-game, which with enough data will become a much better representation, I think. If you want to check pure paper stats, I recommend checking out the new project by SW. He made an amazing website that's based on all the game data collected by S.T.A.L.K.E.R. There's a whole section of last video where I'm bitching about about not having a tool like this and how much it's a pain to get reliable information about the game, all the different spreadsheets on the Discord and the mess it was, well, we have a perfect tool that consolidates all this information now in a very nice way, with a ton of cool features to see all the item stats, crafting recipes, a build planner, if you want to check different armor and artifacts combos, and a lot more than this. If you want to dig into all the game details, definitely go check it out. I will leave the link in the description. It's an amazing resource, and for me at least it's a dream come true. Anyways, back to the rankings. So there's a little bit of pepper stats actually baked in the calculations to anchor a bit everything. That's why I spent so much time getting the reload times of the weapons, as I feel it's a very important stat to include in the calculations. You can see a full detail down the page if you want to understand exactly how everything works. I also added an option to merge all the ammo types of a weapon in one single entry, so you can have a better idea of how a weapon performs on average across all ammo types you can use. It's really interesting because if we go back to our STALKER example, if you use this, you can see that this same weapon that was dominating the rankings gets completely kicked out of the top 3 because VPS runs are amazing, but the regular runs are not that good, so the overall performance of the weapon suffers from it. That way you can know if you want absolute tip of the spear anti-heavy enemy weapon at close range and have enough money to only buy and craft expensive AP ammo, you can go with the STALKER. But if you want something a bit more balanced and efficient to run that still performs extremely well, the AMB17 is very good with both type of ammo it can shoot and much more flexible as a result. I think this option is very interesting to compare weapons that are very close in terms of data, and that's what can make the difference in the end, when you have an inventory full of options and not sure what will be the best to repair next. This can give you a really good clue. Everything else on the page is the same. You can order rankings with the toolkits required to repair, so you can see which weapons will be the best early, mid and late game. You can turn off late game enemies to have more accurate early game data, and the same is true for the page for mutants. At the bottom you can see which weapons you guys send me data of, but it's not enough yet to be included in the rankings. It's not enough to be reliable yet. And that's it for now. I think I covered pretty much everything. That's everything that's new, yeah. So use the mod if you're interested. It lets you check your personalized gameplay stats now, and you can send me your data and climb the leaderboard and help improve everything just as before, just made easier. The next big Gamma update is coming soon. It shouldn't break anything. I shouldn't say that, I'm gonna jinx it. We'll see. So far I was following the development, I didn't see anything too bad. It's exciting either way. So if you have any suggestions, issues or bug reports, you can contact me. All the info is on the mod page, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.